Okay, Carlos just said we're ready to go live, boys.
And it says we are live. So as soon as Joe posts this over, we'll be good.
All right, I'm sharing now to the collective. All right, it's shared.
All right, guys, we're live to the collective.
And we have 5 people watching.
All right.
Take it away, Ben, whenever you're ready.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. We are going to start Fight Night 3 here at our exclusive versus 2PCG Fight Island. We have 2 competitors on tonight's fight where this feud started in Fight Night 2 in the chat. This trash talk between C Stacks on the one side and Stel from Team Apex on the other. So I want to start by welcoming Stacks to the Fight Night. What can we expect from you tonight, man? Brutal. Brutal. All right. Well, we have a very game competitor on the other side with Marcellus.
Welcome to Fight Island, sir.
Thanks for having us. Hopefully, wrap this up 6 turns, maybe 7 in 3 matches.
Oh my goodness, strong words from both competitors. All right. Well, everyone's welcomed. The stage is set. We're ready for this fight. Here we go, gentlemen. Go ahead and roll. Did we
remember to check the poll to see who gets initiative, actually? All right. Well, we'll start with Stacks choosing whether he wants to be on the play or the draw. What do you choose, sir? All right, here we go. Good luck to both our competitors, and let's get started for Fight Night 3.
All right, this is an exciting one, Ben. We have another. It's not quite Predator versus Prey matchup, but we have the classic AVP matchup here, running with Stacks and his iconic newborn, who he is just constantly touting the credits of, versus Cell playing Jungle Hunter, who I know for a fact Team Apex has had a lot of experience with playing these characters, and especially with Jungle Hunter in the Predator mix. So what do you think? Who do you think has an advantage here going in?
Definitely think the newborn is one of those decks that is very vulnerable to its draw. When it gets a hot draw, it can be very difficult to deal with, and when it doesn't draw well, the bloodbath goes the other direction.
Yeah, I agree. He's one that we don't see in competitive play for what you would assume is fairly good reason. He's not one that you really expect to be sitting across the table from. And for anybody that doesn't know, his level up condition is at the start of your main phase, you have to discard your hand. So if you discard your entire hand at the start of your main phase, which means after your draw, you gain an XP. Now he only needs 1, and he turns into a 6/6 with 6 life. He can put counters on himself, and if he's defending, he gets ferocious and monstrous. So his level 2 has some good abilities, but in order to get that experience, it's hard.
Yeah, so Stacks came out here on turn 1. He placed a green location, did Charlie 27, and went in to put a wound. Did not choose to dump his entire hand and level up, which probably, I mean, you go down to no cards on turn 1. That can be a rough place to start a game.
It's not where you want to be. Now, I believe his list has leader, and that's a hugely powerful card for newborn because he can pitch his hand, right, and then draw back up to the opponent.
We have almost a mirror of the turn play here at the bottom of turn 1, where Cell also plays a might location, sends Charlie 27 in.
1 and 1, both 6 wound characters. Now, Jungle Hunter, for anybody that doesn't know, he's going to gain XP when a character on your side stuns a defender while solo attacking, and he's going to need 4 experience. So that's going to get him 1 out of his 4 there.
Now, there is something about the Jungle Hunter level 2 that definitely sell a little bit more. Oh, that's a huge play to get leader down on turn 2 for Newborn.
Wow, this is...
Once Jungle Hunter levels up, his ability to use a space... Well, actually, he even has it on his level 1. Cards out of Newborn's KO pile. There's going to be a lot of aliens in there, most likely.
Yes, yeah. He can remove a card in an enemy KO pile from the game. If it has a red health, he's going to draw 2 cards, and if it has green health, he's going to draw 3. So he can really punch his deck to make himself draw. And his level 2 is going to give himself 2+1 counters for a green. And if he amplifies, he's going to get 4+1 counters, and he can't be stunned. And this happens in combat.
So we do have a level 2 Newborn come out.
That has to be the right call for Stacks, right? He had the yellow showing, he drops Newborn, and there is no disadvantage to him pitching his hand then.
He drew 7 cards there.
Yeah, he gets a starting hand, and he's a 6/6.
And I think this is the kind of hand that Newborn needs to see in order to end up closing the game early. I think if it goes long enough, Jungle Hunter has a much more reliable way to consistently refill and reload as the turns drag on, whereas Newborn is going to kind of sputter out of gas eventually.
Yeah, Jungle Hunter is really good at not losing that momentum, especially with his level 1 for drawing cards and his level 2 for putting a bunch of counters on him. Now, sad for Cell here, he didn't drop a green location for Charlie again, because that 27 would be a really good way to clear, to put that Newborn face down, since... Now he's relying on Miss Marvel, so he's going to have to pitch a card in combat.
A Newborn does have a level 2 power that lets him put +1 counters. I mean, it is a level 1 power that lets him put 3 +1 counters on him when the hand is empty. By dumping the hand and then immediately using leader to refill, that power is just not online. And even if it is, when it's Charlie 27 that's cracking back and forth, I'm not really sure that level 1 is going to be doing a whole lot of work at all in this matchup.
No, his level 1 I think reads as a blank text box, because at this point in the game with these... Oh, there we go. Pitch the Gilgamesh. Wow. Gilgamesh to Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
So that's a 2nd XP there for Cell. Is he gonna...
Actually. Okay. It's when a character stuns a defender while solo attacking.
Yep. Oh, so that was his 4th, huh? I must have missed the 3rd.
So that wasn't... It got 1 off all those attacks, not just him. That's why we have the cards to reference.
Yeah, right.
Level 2 Jungle Hunter goes up to a 7/6 compared to Newborn 6/6. Now, that 1 extra attack isn't super relevant when they're in one-on-1 combat. His ability to gain +1 counters, by default, he's able to put 2 +1 counters onto him for 1 location. But if he discards that location from hand, he puts 4 on, and he can't be stunned this combat.
The Amplify is such a powerful ability for that. Pitching it always sucks to pitch a card from hand, but to make yourself an 11/10 who can't be stunned is a big deal.
Yeah. And it feels very similar to the kind of things that Newborn is to do, but just a little bit better. Just a little bit bigger from his power, and Newborn's power protects him against...
It protects him against team attacks.
Counters.
Yeah, it'll protect him against team attacks up till, what do we say, the early mid game now. But even at a 6/6, once we get to turn 6, 7, 8, single cards are flying in with more than 6 defense.
Hey guys, we had a question in chat from Jason Roosevelt. Is Charlie a common deck staple, or is there a synergy here? Why it's in this deck? What are your thoughts on that?
I think if you have a combat-focused deck, it's a card to ignore. He can get big enough that he's relevant throughout basically the entire game. If you're running greens anyway and you want to make sure that you can win combats, he slots into a lot of decks. As a
Oh,
one drop,
there we go. So we missed.
Sorry, go ahead.
Stacks got a bunch of counters here, or he. Sorry, he climbed. He's got Gargoyle down. So we have Gargoyle with a +1 counter, and Might Makes Right.
Oh, here we go.
Might Makes Right for. Was that 5 counters now on Gargoyle?
I almost feel like It Makes Right being played onto Gargoyle should just be called the C stacks for how much he talks about that one interaction.
I mean, let's be honest. When you swing with an 8/8 and you effectively make your opponent's character -8, it's just a free stun. You don't even have to try to get to the damage step. They just turn face down in most occasions. But I'm sorry, I took away from you're talking about Charlie. I saw the Might Makes Right play coming, so I wanted to make sure we were there.
No, and that's important. We should focus on what's happening on the board rather than just pure conjecture. But in short answer, yes, I think Charlie is a great card to slot into decks that are expecting into matchups.
I agree.
He's
a cleanup card. Any deck that you expect to be dealing with large characters and you don't particularly want to have to pack the same ones, or pack team attacks to deal with large characters. Charlie's a staple slot there for a 1-drop and a green.
Power up and a Rhino discard on that Ms. Marvel there. Force that through. Or I guess not force it through, but bounce that attack.
So we are still matched. No, Stacks is up on wounds 3-2. So Sella is in the lead right here.
So the other thing that I think a lot of pressure on these decks to want to run Charlie is they have green powers on the main characters, and It Makes Right is a card. So
it's hard if you're already running greens not to put Charlie in just to deal with anything that's there.
Yeah.
And there's so little that hurts him. Even the odds hurts him, but for the most part, it's always just going to be a 27 shot.
So what do we think the real key to victory is here? If you're on the stack side of this equation, you guys are trading wounds every turn. I mean, it feels like there has to be a turn where he's able to just repel an attack and not do this trade, because eventually they're going to end up in a situation where, well, if we trade every time, somebody's going to run out of health first, and right now that person stacks.
I think what he needs to do right now is he needs to put Newborn in the back. He needs to step him behind Gargoyle and just rely on Gargoyle and that flight and that free face down on Jungle Hunter to put wounds on and save Newborn from doing exactly that, from taking a hit every single turn. Because at this point, when you go back and forth and you both have 6 life, it's the player that stops a wound first wins. And that was Cell.
Ms. Marvel crackback was really relevant there. And as a fan of Kamala Khan, I think it's cool to see this card see some play and have her power actually matter. Time hits the board. Now, this is maybe the most played 2-drop in the game. Is that a fair statement?
Probably.
He has that 6 attack, which 6 attack on turn 2 is a big deal. Yeah, he only has 3 printed attack, but while attacking, he gets that +3. So he might as well have a 6. Maria Hill sees play in Photographic, and she's not nearly the card this is. It's that 6 attack early in the game.
And 2 life,
really,
mind you. 2 life is huge on him. Like, he sticks around.
He can get somebody on turn 2 and on turn 3. Now, this is an underdrop here. This isn't exactly what Cell probably wanted to see, but this is not a card I feel bad about playing on turn 3, especially in a deck that runs greens. So even if you got somebody hidden in the back row while I'm coming for them, and if I clip them, they stay dead with lethal.
Yeah, playing that green to give him lethal is kind of what puts him over the top. A 6 attack, a 6/2, 2 life is good and would see play. The fact that for a green you're going to get stealth, you're going to get that free attack into the back row, and it's going to be lethal makes this card just incredible.
Decided to suicide Charlie and suicide Primeval into the Gargoyle.
Is he afraid of a lethal character coming down?
I guess so.
I don't see any other reason to put your multi-wound characters face down just after playing, unless you're afraid of Stax playing an Elsa or a Massacre or something with lethal that's going to take that off the board. But it also makes me think that Cell has a plan where he needs one or both of those characters next turn.
Oh, so what kind of plot twist might he have? Or equipment that he want to play?
Solo. Oh my God, Solo.
Good card.
So
I think
Gargoyle is going to climb, and he's going to attack, and he's going to get 2 more counters.
Is Gargoyle now? Do we think Stax to hide Newborn in the back row here and just go eggs in one basket, relying on Gargoyle?
I think he should. I think that's the right play. He's already got 3 wounds. Maybe he can sort of bait it out, right, keeping Newborn in the front for another turn, but I don't see why you would.
Taskmaster hitting the field. I don't know if this is necessarily a character that Cell was trying to play around, but denying task to keywords of his cards. I mean, Charlie, Primeval, they don't have any keywords that are super. I guess Hunter, is that worth putting the wound on him? I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. So there we go. So Stax drops Newborn in the back. I think that was the right play. Right.
Oh, look at that field.
It's hilarious. So what does Taskmaster have right now? He's got Kamala's power.
Yeah, whatever her power is called, size alteration. So the way that's phrased is, while Ms. Marvel is in combat, you may discard a supporting character as though it were in any combat plot twist. If you do, her base attack and defense becomes equal to that character's. But depending upon what Stax is holding in his hand, that could make Taskmaster significantly big.
Oh, absolutely. But I think we have to assume Gargoyle's going to go into Jungle Hunter, and then I think we just assume that Solo just attacks to get the counter, and Leader just attacks to get the counter into Miss Marvel, even if it's not going to do anything.
Is there any reason not to? Would you be worried about
not at this
some kind of range granting plot twist?
With Champions the only activator face up? No, I wouldn't. I think you're entirely safe.
Imagine. I mean, I guess I could look at Cell's list, but I'm pretty sure Concealed Firearm is not in it. Yo, is Concealed Firearm in Marcel's list?
It is not.
Look at that. I'm good at this.
So
I guess while Stax is
taking his time thinking here.
Yeah, we could take a moment to introduce everybody on our casting team tonight. Myself, Mr. Ben, and here.
Carlos Luna from Team Attack, and we've just seen Stax pitch a power up for both Solo and for Leader.
And the last member of our team tonight is Joe, kind of keeping track of the numbers and keeping us honest to make sure we don't screw up what any of the card counts are as the stuff comes out. So thanks to Joe, thanks to Carlos. It's really cool to be here. I appreciate everybody who's watching as well.
Do we know how many cards Stax just drew? He just used Leader's power with the yellow.
I did not catch that. I was updating the card. Sorry.
20 people watching. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. We're really glad you're all here watching, and we hope you're going to enjoy the show.
Interesting. Leader hits the KO pile. That is a card. I almost feel like chaining Leader activations together is a key for Newborn to find victory, to be able to keep up with the card generation power of Jungle Hunter. Now, if Jungle Hunter doesn't see his space locations, point is kind of irrelevant.
Gambit for a free stun.
Here we go.
That is an excellent counter for Gargoyle. Oh, there he goes. And Ben, in case you didn't, that
brutal.
That Leader hitting the bin was a power up, and oh my God, just destroyed him. So if anybody's not familiar with that Gambit, that is the Gambit out of the Resistance box. And
one people actually play.
Yeah, the one people actually play. He is a 4-drop. It says when he appears, he may pay a red. If he does, discard a card and stun enemy supporting characters with total cost less than or equal to the cost of the discarded card. So Cell was able to throw down and blow up Leader. He was able to hit Gargoyle, and he was able to hit Solo, all for 1 card and 1 red. Huge, huge move.
Incredible.
Definitely a momentum swing.
That puts a wound on Newborn.
So now we're back. Now we're back 4-4, but we're gonna go 4-4 with it being Stax' turn. So if we continue a back and forth tit for tat wounds, Stax walks out ahead on this one.
I didn't see anything on Cell's turn there that really explained to me why he was willing to open up his back row and just stack a wound on his own Primeval and Charlie on the previous turn. And he had a great turn. Don't get me wrong.
Neither do I. I agree. Unless he, again, the only thing I can think of is he had some plan, and then maybe he drew into that gambit and the plan changed. Oh my God, Gargoyle and Solo. We've got a green showing. Does Stax have a might make right? Does Stax have another might makes right?
If he does he use it on Gargoyle, or does he want to try to use Newborn's power and get some counters? I mean, just raw numbers, might makes right produces 1 more counter than the Newborn's power. So that seems like it'd be the way to go. Plus the added value from Gargoyle being such a house, but with Gambit on the board, oh my goodness. It's scary to deeply invest in such a low-cost character.
That's true, but Gambit's only when he appears, so you're gonna be banking on Cell then having another Gambit in hand, which I don't think would be a wrong choice, right? He has a red showing, so it probably would be better if he has that might makes right to play a little more conservatively and try to beef up Newborn.
Newborn's up front again, so it looks like he's hoping
might makes right up onto Gargoyle. It's the classic Stax move. There it is, classic Stax move. Man.
Old Stax.
So
That's what that move is.
Here's my question. Why is Newborn still up front?
I mean, I guess to clean up Gambit, but isn't he going to get clipped? Oh, no, with the 1 counter from Solo, he won't get clipped back. It makes it big enough.
Still, Gambit wasn't going to do anything unless a new one falls anyway. I think I would have preferred Gargoyle behind, or Newborn behind the flyer.
Would want to disincentivize your opponent from another Gambit.
Yeah,
if you leave their Gambit up,
Andy's got Charlie up. Were you to draw a green, you're just begging the 5th wound onto Newborn.
It's a tight game. Another red from Cell. So if he draws the Gambit,
the Gambit, then he clears the field.
I mean, he does need to also have something to pitch to it, and I'm not sure what Cell's hand count is right now.
Well, Stax did use Leader just a turn or two ago to draw, so I'm guessing it's more than a few.
Just heard Stax say 3 in response to the cards in hand question.
So what are some cards here that Cell can have that are gonna make an impact? He could have Anytime. He could have Turnaround. 2 just fantastic Predator plot twists. Either
hey,
one.
Gentlemen, can we get a wound count on Jungle Hunter as well? I know Newborn's at 4. Where are we sitting at Jungle?
I believe Jungle's at 5.
Thank you.
So Anytime would still allow
Anytime, because Jungle Hunter's just 6 or a 7 attack, so I believe Anytime still will hit Newborn with his counter.
Yeah.
So that's a free stun there. Turnaround's gonna pitch a card. I don't know. 1 wound away. If Cell can't clear this Gargoyle right now, the game's done.
I'm not sure discarding a card necessarily helps a lot here.
Match.
Which is decent.
Match.
And he could stack some minus counters on Newborn and soften him up.
He's got Gargoyle. He's got to deal with Gargoyle. If Gargoyle swings at Jungle Hunter, the game ends.
That's true.
So he has to get Gargoyle off the field with all those counters.
Oh, and at level 2, Jungle Hunter loses his range, so he's not able to do the match followed by Jungle Hunter play to put a wound on Newborn and just hide in the back row behind Charlie.
Correct. It's kind
Really
of a
do something.
Jungle Hunter gets a really good ability. His stats bump up a lot, but he loses range.
I assume that ties into the flavor of the film some way.
Yes. Once he gets all cranky and mad and starts fighting Arnold, he basically takes all his stuff off because Arnold challenged his manhood, as Arnold does to most anyone, and they had to go mano a mano.
He couldn't see me.
I tell you what, if a big scary like mandible alien was coming after me, I'd go hide in the mud too.
So is that a rhino next to Jungle Hunter there?
That is the brand new rhino. Where if he swings in the front row, he's a 5/4 or I believe a 5/4. If he swings, the character in the front row may choose to sidestep. If they do, then Rhino gets to attack a back row character if able. So if Match goes after Gargoyle, takes those counters off, and then Rhino goes in, Stax has to make the decision whether to lose Gargoyle or to lose Solo.
Definitely think losing Solo is probably the way to go if you're given that choice to make.
I would think so as well. Now, I'm curious. We haven't seen any real plot twists out of Stax, and he is running the alien kit, so he has chest burst.
And we've seen a fair number of Might Makes, right?
We have. So
Joe, how many have we seen?
We've seen 2 so far.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to believe that if he runs chest burst, that he's drawn one.
So, story about that rhino. I had that card in one of my drafts for Gen Con last year, and the reason it was there is that largely because I misread the power. I looked at it as person couldn't sidestep unless there was somebody in the back row, and that is not how that power works. So if there's a front row character and you attack him with Rhino, they can sidestep and Rhino just does nothing.
Correct. If there's no back row character, it's just a free combat cancel.
A brutal feeling. Oh, no, it works like that? I don't want to play that card anymore.
This card is garbage. I don't want this card.
Settle is really thinking through the options here.
So this tells me that he sees
shape.
the boat he's in, right? He knows he has to deal with Gargoyle, and he knows that if he can't, then he scoops. Active camo on Match. I don't know why that decision took so long. Oh my goodness.
I just heard Stax say, "You're thinking so hard. You have it."
Hiding Jungle Hunter. Oh my god. Power up for Match. Wow.
Oh goodness.
Wow. Match is a big boy now. 5/7/4. He's a 7/4 with stealth and
Adam
dodge. Oh my god.
On the Oklahoma stream, you can sit there and there's 5 ways to win the game, but only one is correct.
Yeah.
So you can't short a guy for looking through all the available lines and making sure he makes the choices that are correct.
That is true. And Adam is the man that's given us the ever so popular just play better. So
I kind of stepped on you making a big deal about that camo though.
Oh, I mean, just look at the stat block on that Match now. Come on.
Yeah. I know went into Gargoyle there, so I think Stax is deciding whether he's going to sidestep or not.
At this point, what do you think? I think you sack Gargoyle. There's no way he's getting back up from all those counters.
We know he's only got 3 cards in hand. I mean, even if you keep him around and you climb and stuff, you have to dig out of the hole before he can do anything super relevant.
He put 7 counters on him. Looks like he has a -1 now. So Gargoyle's a base stat plot of 3/3, so he's a 2/2 right now.
Brutal.
You say Stax plays a location, which we don't know. He has nothing face up, so he's got to draw or have a location in hand to play, to climb, to make himself the base 3/3 again. And if he does that, if all that comes to fruition, Solo's still gone. That is the play I would have made looking solely at the board state. Gargoyle goes to the bin. Keep Solo around. Make
So he did
Newborn
dodge
bigger.
a wound on his main character here.
He did. So he's got 2 turns left, and this is where I think we can see Newborn's power.
You know how many tokens or +1 counters are on Solo right now?
I believe just 1.
That's not enough.
I believe it is 1 on Solo and 1 on Newborn.
I mean, it's enough to clear Charlie, but then it has to be able to play something alongside Newborn. Like, Newborn can get through to Jungle Hunter or take out Rhino. Oh, okay.
Thor!
Does he get the heal? What was the wound count on Newborn when she came down?
Wound count on Newborn was 4, but he needs a yellow, I believe. And I do not see a yellow, and there's not one in the bin. So he's going to miss on Thor's heal ability.
Well, and it can only heal if Newborn has exactly one remaining health.
Oh, that is true.
2 different things. Thor to just be, but I mean, a body is good enough. Unfortunately, she's only got the 3 attack. Now it'll turn to 4 with Solo. So if he sequences correctly here and goes Solo into Charlie or into Rhino, opens up Jungle Hunter for, I believe, the final wound from Born. Is that right? Jungle Hunter's at 5?
Jungle Hunter is at 5.
Yeah,
yes,
Jungle Hunter's
Hunter's
at 5
wounds.
Okay. I said that with such confidence, and I was like, uh-oh, did I mess up the math on the wounds? Here we go.
Solo
If
into
Cell can
Charlie.
do something that, nope.
Thor into Rhino.
I think the last hope play there was going to be disrupting the Solo attack to prevent Thor from getting the +1 counter.
Yep.
Would have saved the game. He didn't have it.
He did not. I'm not even sure if he plays any plot twists that would allow him to do that. Joe, does he play anything defensive? Is he playing shocks? Is he playing anything that obviously would disrupt attacks?
No, he is not. I don't believe. I'm just double checking one card.
He would have needed 3 power-ups to get Charlie big enough to crack Solo. No, and he doesn't have range. So even with the power-ups, that wouldn't have worked.
Wow, so he is just
No,
he is an
not.
all-in aggressive deck.
Well, I remember hearing one Vern go, "Please, C-Stacks, just don't get swept." Seems
There
like
was
he's
a lot of talk
fate.
about this matchup beforehand. Apex was pretty confident about their ability to beat Newborn with Jungle Hunter.
And
And I think rightly so.
and as it's looking now, they've got a hole to dig themselves out of.
Part of the
Rightfully so, but they're down right now. But we've got 2 more games to go, so it'll be interesting to see if Cell can turn it around in game 2.
I guess while we're in between matches here, it might be a time to remind everyone that we do have Fight Night 3 coming up here.
Fight
in
Night
the next
4.
couple of weeks.
Fight Night 4.
We are in Fight Night 3,
Oh my
Fight
goodness.
Island right now.
Yeah.
A failure on the commentary desk. Fight Night 4. And this Fight Night is a bit unique in that we are going international for the first time. The fellows over at Card Hobjus in the Philippines have done a series of tournaments to determine who gets the honor to compete in Fight Night 4 on Fight Island. And so we still don't know who the players or the main characters are going to be for this event, but it's coming up here before the end of the month.
And that's going to be just incredible. If anybody doesn't follow what the guys in the Philippines do for their tournaments and just their community over there, it is incredible. They are heavily invested. They are in love with the game, and they go above and beyond. So I would really recommend you go and find Mark Eam and follow what he's doing and check those guys out, because they are just golden for this game.
Right, so here we are coming into game 2. Newborn has taken a wound off of a ranged attack from Jungle Hunter with a Smart Disc.
It's a great play
Awesome.
one, and Smart Disc is going to be fantastic for Jungle Hunter here.
Well, and we know he's running the reds.
Yep.
Did seem like there was a lot of reds showing up in row in game one for just the Gambit, and now you can see clearly there were other outlets for those reds that again just pushes the aggressive agenda that this Jungle Hunter deck has.
It does, and the only thing that's lacking from that Smart Disc is its ability to give range. Solo down here.
See strong turn one play from Newborn. Does the Smart Disc attack benefit while defending? No, just
it
while
does not.
attacking.
It is just while attacking. You get +4/+0. But once it's in the KO pile, now that it exists there for a red, it just comes into play.
No, it is limited to the build phase when you can let thing out of the KO pile, so it's not going to have the same flexibility as a combat pump where you're trying to draw some things out of your opponent's hand.
Correct,
We'll be able to for attack, man.
But as a bonus,
still hurt.
As a bonus, it does specify on the card that any character on your side can use that superpower.
We see a card go face down in the row for Cell here on turn 2. Now in game 1, he had a lot of locations, but didn't end up using a ton of them. He had, some more reds than he needed sitting there for a lot of the game. And Smart Disc again. So I think we're going to see a board clear here, turn 2 from Marcellus.
I think it's smart. He probably, turn around.
Ooh.
Here we go.
We got to see what is in C-Stack's hand here. Now,
got a yellow, a leader, a space, match, Leviathan, a Charlie,
leader, right?
and I can't tell who the last card is, but pitching leader. Pitching leader seems like the right call. Leader with a yellow on the board. That would have been a turn 2 level for Stacks.
I mean, even with a Leviathan Beast, which is a one-of-a-kind card, due to how strong it is, normally when you play a discard effect, it's like, yeah, let's target the one-of-a-kind card. Let's target the cards. My options. But I think in this matchup, leader is the right call here.
I don't think you can give Newborn a free 6/6 on turn 2 and a 7-card hand. That's just insane.
If he was holding 2 leaders, okay, I hit that one, and he still has another one to follow it up. Maybe that changed that calculation, but knowing that he's only got the one, and he's clearly showing the location, so he could have activated him. Just that and hope he doesn't top deck.
Yeah, I agree. Top deck would have been... Top deck is one of the things where you just get exasperated. You got to stand up from the table for a second, shake it off, and sit back down, because... Come on!
The level up is going a lot slower for both of these players this game. Jungle Hunter has not been able to get off the same kind of quick attacks as he was in game 1, and the full hand discard for Newborn seems a lot more punishing. And I guess if he did the full hand discard, he wouldn't have had that leader anyway. So
yeah. So we should have we got 2. Well, I believe Cell should have 3 XP. No, he should have 1 from his first wound on Newborn, turn 1, and then 2 from last turn, correct?
Yeah, Primeval. So he should have 3 experience, does he not?
He does not. Oh, he should have 4, because he stunned Newborn twice, and he got rid of Solo. Nope, that's 3. Yeah, so he should only have 3, because the leader's in the bin because of turnaround.
He's showing 2.
He's showing 2.
Okay, I'm gonna hop in there 1 sec.
Hey, Carlos, what resources does Stacks have down right now? I've got a glare on my screen.
What on earth is going on here? What resource? Stacks has 2 An Arcadia and an LV. So he has one wild and one yellow. Wow. What a great turn. So we had, if anybody didn't catch that, Stacks decided, even without leader, to pitch his hand to level. So he threw away his entire hand. All he has is Match and Newborn on the field, and he was still able to go and clear the field here for Match going in, and then Newborn is a 6/6 going in and taking off that Smart Disc from Jungle Hunter. So really, really great play there, I think.
Given that he's showing the green and was able to put the 3 counters on it, is there an argument for attacking, discarding your hand, attacking in with Newborn, stacking the 3 counters, in Match in? Because Match is 4 attack, if I'm not wrong, and so he would be big enough to take out Jungle Hunter on his own.
I don't know. I think putting the 3 counters on Newborn and making yourself a 9/9 right now on turn 2, being able to stop the board is probably the right call, because if Cell now draws a green and he's still only a 6/6 with Newborn, then we know Primetime comes and hits him. No green showing. Oh.
And Charlie's just not and he probably doesn't have one in hand because he wrote a resource face down.
You would play the green. There's something to be said about not telegraphing, but at this point you play the green.
Or maybe he's just trying to run his hand dry to deny leader any kind of value.
Wow, we pitched a thing to Kamala to hit Newborn and level Jungle Hunter.
Does trigger the level up, yeah. Fortunately, Jungle Hunter's not going to do anything. I guess he doesn't really need to, though, given the state of the board.
He doesn't. He's going to be a 7/6, and he's going to have 1 fewer wound. But I think that's right. I think once Newborn levels, you're on a clock. You almost need to level that next turn. Otherwise, you don't want to stare at a 6/6 who's just going to casually become a 9/9 for a green.
And we're only on turn 3, and it feels like so much has happened in this game already.
Nothing. Oh man, Stacks is drawing and praying here. He's living off the top of his deck.
I mean, he could have paid a green to make Newborn a 9/9 again.
Do you do that? Do you do that with Miss Marvel on the board, though? Do you take that risk? Because Cell has a mitt full of hands, and if he has something else to pitch, you've just wasted your green.
There are some big attack and defenses in Marcellus's deck. I mean, the blank text box Colossus has found a home in a deck.
He also plays Gilgamesh. We saw him last turn. We saw Thing this turn. So yeah, he has a lot of large damaging characters, large attacks.
And there is something to be said that you have to make him have it. If you always play as if your opponent has the perfect answer to your line, then you're never going to choose a strong line, and you're going to be making anemic plays where you don't commit things to the board. I'm not saying that's the case here, but you can't always go, well, if I try to get big, then they'll definitely have the answer that can get bigger. Because in a lot of cases, sometimes people just don't have it.
That's true. Sometimes, and you're never going to win a game if you play too cautiously. You're just going to run too many turns, and you're going to give too many opportunities for your opponent to draw into something better, or to draw better synergy, or to see something that you missed. So there are a lot of times, especially early game here, right? We've got 2 wounds to 4 wounds now, where I agree. Sometimes you just have to make the attack, and if they have it, they have it. But at least you've baited it out.
Yeah, I mean that does hurt. Definitely thinking about, okay, I'm going to get punished if I choose this line is kind of a pep talk you have to give yourself so as not to get totally tilted when those punishments come. Because, I mean, it's card games. Some percentage of the time, the ballsy play, the risk versus reward, you end up on the risk side of that equation.
I think it's far easier when you go into it knowing that you might see that...
Match just straight up melts Newborn.
Wow.
A match with a smart disc is
an
brutal.
8 counters. 8 counters on a swing. That's
It
madness.
just stuns him outright. He wouldn't have just stunned him outright, I think, if he had the other +3 counters, right?
No, but he put him at 1. He'd be a 1-1.
But he still probably would have been clipped by Charlie 27.
Yeah, Charlie just would have walked in and headbutted him. 2 cards in Stack's hands. He had a leader. He had a match. So we're finally going to see Stax draw up to something. He's finally going to get some cards in hand.
Might be looking at the first fight night where we don't see a 3-game sweep one way or the other.
I think
It
2
looks like
wounds to
Jungle Hunter's
5
very
wounds.
comfortable here.
I'd be very surprised if Stax somehow turned this around entirely right now.
Uh-oh. I think once your aggro deck has to start making defensive decisions, it doesn't bode well.
He has, okay, so it looks like he has, 1 card sitting in front of him. He can pay the yellow for leader. He can draw up, but what's his defense? Again, he might have some chest burst. But
And can he draw? It looks like Stax has a little bit of a hand there.
Yeah, he's got a little.
Oh, he's got 1 card in
It
hand.
looks like he's got 1. I don't
So
know. I
match could
don't
make Jungle
see a
Hunter
lot of
smaller.
I don't see a lot of outs here. If Cell draws a green, he's golden. Even if he doesn't, he has match. And match is just going to clear that front row. Leader's not going to get a chance to do anything.
Even if he puts Newborn up front, which it seems like he's disinclined to do,
Well, I don't think you
doesn't
can.
seem to have enough attacks to clean the board up.
Can you put Newborn up front? Match is going to swing in with an 8.
And if you don't, I think you just lose next turn. He has to have all his characters be able to attack this turn, or else it's over next turn for sure. Even if he does, like if match shrinks Jungle Hunter down and then he uses like lever to clean him up, he's still got to deal with Charlie before he can deal with that match in the back row.
So what's the right play here for Stax? It seems like Newborn, he's got a green showing, so Newborn into Jungle Hunter, paying his green, making him a 9/9.
Yeah.
Right? That'll stun Jungle Hunter down. Then you can get leader into Charlie. Leader's got range, and then you can get match into match. Now you're gonna lose your match, but at least you're gonna get rid of the guy with the smart disc on him. I think
that's got to be the play.
the big issue there is that Cell has another red showing. So on Cell's turn, smart disc exists again.
All right, here we go. Leader's coming into Charlie.
Yep. Newborn and Jungle Hunter. Chest burst. So he's not going to pay.
Okay.
So that's
He
going to
did
turn
have a
Jungle
relevant
Hunter
card
into a
in
5/4. And he's going to pay.
Okay. I think that's the smart move. Like, you got to try to just as much tempo on the board as possible.
Yeah, you're
Otherwise,
in such a bad position right now for doing anything. There we go.
I don't think Stax wanted to let go of that guy.
Does Stax have anything in hand? It
I
doesn't
believe
look like
that
it.
chest burst was his last card.
So let's just talk about this. Cell flips over his 7/6, pays a red, gets smart discs, and attacks the 9/9 with his 11/10.
Yeah, that's
Or
big
with
enough.
his 11. I'm sorry, his 11/6. So he'll take a wound. He'll go to 4, but Stax is dead.
Yeah, and he's got no cards in hand, so it's
He's
not like
there's
gonna be
nothing
any
he can do.
interaction.
Is Newborn's ability in any combat, or is it only his? It is in any. It is in any combat. It is in any combat. So he can get to 12. So he can't. That is not the right play.
And he is showing a green.
He
Yeah,
is.
You're right.
He
So
is. So
if
that's
it's a naked smart disc, Jungle Hunter into Newborn
Is not
Dax
gonna
does
work.
have the ability to repel that attack.
no. It's not gonna work. He's gonna need to play a prime time. He's gonna need to do something to maybe give Jungle Hunter a team attack here. Charlie, no green.
And he doesn't have to be afraid of the ferocious, monstrous play.
Because
out of
there's no
Newborn. He's
space
not
showing,
any
yes.
Space. Grip's empty.
Oh, all right. Is this a misplay?
Uh-oh.
Is this a misplay? I don't know if Cell saw it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if Cell saw it. I think he flew in without seeing that 12.
Oh, I hear him asking, wait, you can pay that while defending?
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
This is exactly like, so if anybody listened to the live stream that Adam and I did last time talking about prep to Oklahoma, and where we spent a lot of time talking about how to play in a tournament and what to expect, one of the things we spent a lot of time on was giving your opponent the chance to make a mistake, especially in a tournament. And right there is exactly what we were talking about.
And when people are watching you on the stream, and people are sitting there talking about your play lines, it is so easy just push through and not think about it. And I know firsthand experience, making misplay when under pressure is a thing that happens to people.
Oh, absolutely. And it's amazingly easy to make a mistake like that, to not see it. I mean, he probably looked at that and saw the line in his head and said, great, I've got game. And that's, like you said, there's a million ways to play a turn. There's only one way to win.
So Cell has one card in hand, so there's no value. Unless Stacks can dump his hand here, there's no value out of leader. And, I mean, do you pay a yellow to draw one card?
No.
In this board state? Probably not.
I don't think you do.
And given that Cell opted to hide his Charlie by suiciding him in Newborn, there's really just nothing for Stacks to do here other than build defensively and wait until Jungle Hunter popped back up.
And I feel bad for Cell, because you could tell when he was making those plays with Charlie that he was frustrated.
And it gets us all. So it doesn't matter how good a player you are, how finely tuned your card analysis is, how well you know the lines. Everybody can make mistakes. And now I don't think anybody should go into an event thinking on their opponent making a misplay as part of their strategy.
No, well, no, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, being aware of it and aware of it in yourself. And a trick I like to use is, before I commit to a line, I try to think of an alternative line. Even if it's do nothing, I just try to sit there and think about, okay, what's another option for this turn? And that just kind of forces you out of that tunnel vision. I mean, not to say that I'm perfect at it. I've had tunnel vision on plays for sure, but that's a tactic I try to use to break myself out of that.
Well, I think on the other side, it shows why you don't scoop during an event or during a tournament like this. Stacks easily could have said, I have 5 wounds, I have no cards, I have basically, like, I don't have this game, like, I'm done. And he could have scooped at 5 last turn and walked, just gone into game 3, but this is a reason why you don't, right? Because something like that can always happen.
In chat, I heard him specifically say, "This is over, but I guess we'll play it out."
There, see, exactly. Like, he absolutely could have scooped, and had he, then he wouldn't have had this chance. He wouldn't be where he is now, with his Jungle Hunter at 4 wounds and him at 5, and he's in a much better place.
What could Cell have possibly drawn here? One of the cards, he had 1 card in hand at the end of last turn, so he's going to see 2 cards. We get a resource. What kind of character drop do you think he wants to see here? Thing? Are we on Colossus yet? What turn are we on?
We're on turn 6.
Okay.
What, Joe, what does he have for turn 6 here?
For turn 6, he's got Thing.
Well, I think if he pulled Thing, I don't think there's hesitation about putting that down. And I get he's probably now, right, he's probably going to think through, like you said, a whole lot more slowly and much more meticulously, especially after getting punched in the jaw on that last turn. But if you draw Thing, you put him down.
Have we seen anything discards from Marcellus to, like, Ms. Marvel's power earlier in this game?
Yeah, just one.
How many does he have total?
He's running 3 in his build.
Yeah, that's pretty low odds to have your 6-drop on 6 when actively you're running 2.
I don't think we've seen Gilgamesh this game, so
No, we haven't seen Gilgamesh yet,
he could be.
and we haven't seen Colossus yet either. So he's
If we
got something
actually
next
see
turn.
Colossus recruited for real in a game, I am gonna laugh.
There's nothing wrong with Colossus.
Could have given him flavor text.
Oh, their thing is thing. There we go.
Hey. So I think that might have been an example of Marcellus kind of learning the lesson last turn. Last turn he snap played, got punished for it. This turn he had the optimal play in hand, but he put it through his time and was methodical with how he spent his turn. Uh-oh.
Maybe. Now there is something to be said for going too far the other way as well, and you make a play mistake and you get punched in the face and it feels bad, and then just being too gun shy to do anything else. I don't think that's where Cell is, but there definitely is the opportunity for people to feel that way, and
It sounds like Cell thinks
in
he
their own
might have
head.
skipped the resource phase. If I remember correctly, you have to actively declare you're skipping your resource. Otherwise, it's a mandatory trigger, right?
and I am not familiar enough with that section of the rules.
Okay, it looks like they worked it out. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are on turn 6, so he did play a resource.
I think understandably, at this point, might be a little bit of nerves getting to you. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So Thing is a great play. This is going to be something that's fairly difficult for the newborn to chop through. He can get gigantic. Oh, man. Anytime.
Oh, come on, really? Anytime. Oh, wow.
Huh. He struck leader off the board with Anytime and
Yep.
then used Thing to clear Massacre.
Which is
Now,
kind of what he can do,
Horn's
because
open.
you're still dealing with a 12 attack or 12 defense newborn, and Thing runs off greens, and he's only got a red showing, so it's basically Thing and Charlie both will get the job done, but he needs a green for both.
And again, given that Jungle Hunter keeps throwing cards face down in the resource row, it's very unlikely that he's sitting on a green and that this is some kind of gamesmanship.
I do not like this board for Cell.
I mean, if he has a green, is able to bait attack into Thing, it could buy him a turn. Okay, I have these limited number of attacks. I swing in, and oh, my Thing is gigantic. Is that enough? I mean, it feels like he's just trying to stop the bleeding here.
Well, let's see if so. I don't know. I think if I were Stacks, I'd just go in for the wounds. I don't think you can expect to keep Gargoyle or Massacre on the field for much longer, especially with Thing there. So I think you climb with Gargoyle. You send him into Jungle Hunter. He's gonna make Jungle Hunter a 3/2. Gargoyle is a 4/4. So I think you just send him into Jungle Hunter, get your stun on Jungle Hunter, put Jungle Hunter at 5, and you keep Newborn in the back.
Okay, so we got Massacre into Thing with a chest burst.
That'll do it. Oh, wow. What is this?
Wow.
Wow.
Doesn't Massacre get hit back there?
Massacre
5/3.
has Mercenary and Lethal. Yeah, so there shouldn't have been any Ferocious there. You want to jump in there and double check on that?
Got him anyway. It didn't end up mattering because
Oh.
Colossus is.
There we
Not
go.
only did we just see Colossus hit the board, You just saw him kill.
the pivotal card, the winning card, Colossus of the no box.
Maybe a card Stacks has spent more time complaining about than any other card. Just killed him. Hold it.
That sounds right. It's classic. That's beautiful.
Hey, in between games, I definitely want to remember to remind everyone that on the 15th, the Frightful expansion officially releases, and on that day, Burt Richardson is going to be taking on John Phillips on a Frightful first look stream. Now, this will also probably, I assume, feature cards from the Herald's expansion. This will be the first opportunity for the community to see the last couple cards out of the Frightful expansion, kind of similar to the thing Stacks and I did, but with the whole Fantastic Four arc.
So which means Galactus. We are finally going to see Galactus
before the stream.
I sure hope so.
Or do you think they'll save it for the stream?
I hope they save it. I hope they save it for the stream, and I hope his text box is as crammed full as Kid Kaiju, just to make it the most irritating thing possible.
All right, so we've got Game 3 here, guys.
This is it. This is the first non-sweep fight night.
Ooh.
That was one of the most exciting games I think we've had on Fight Night. The back and forth there was really good.
I'm pulling for Predator just because I like Predator more than I like Alien, and this has nothing to do with either participant. I just like the Predators more than I do the Aliens. So,
I guess if you're gonna root for Cell, then
Cell.
that puts me in a position of I have to root for Stacks, right?
Well, that's kind of how it went with Danny and Ben for us. So,
guys, I'm supposed to keep you guys honest, and as commentators, you're not supposed to pick sides.
Yeah,
I guess I wouldn't expect anything less from somebody in Team Attack anyway.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
And did you see how he angled it so that I had to be on the side of the guy who whipped me 2-0 on the first look stream?
That's exactly what. Yeah, that's right.
So, is there any world in which Newborn doesn't go first this last game? Just no way, right?
No, I can't see any reason why he would ever choose to go second. I mean, what? I think it's such a big gamble. You need to have your yellow, you need to have leader on 2, and you need to pitch, and you're only going second because you want Cell to have more cards so you draw more cards, but that seems like a trap. Why would you ever want your opponent to have more cards?
Well, and it really punishes Newborn if you're going second, you're using that early game level, you're just throwing more cards away.
Yeah.
So, can we take a step back to game 2 here real quick? Do you think pitching his hand so early was the right decision?
Oof.
I think looking at what was going to be a 7-6 Jungle Hunter so quickly meant that he had to do something. He had to do something, and getting Newborn to 9 to 12 at defense. Yeah,
one of a kind anytime plot twist really was relevant in that game.
Yeah, I gotta say I don't think he made the wrong call there. I think in order to keep tempo and to stay alive, I think he stayed alive as long as he did because he leveled so early.
I'm in agreement. I'm glad he did what he did. I thought that was a good move. I also think it might have caught Cell off guard.
I think it probably would have been really easy to not do that, and you probably would have found yourself in a much more difficult position a turn or two later.
I just wanted to point out on that turn 1 there, Stacks did the technically correct thing where he remembered to attack with the solo and get the +1 counter before going in with the stun and making his main character bigger.
That there is some technicality to this, is the which way you have to attack sometimes, especially with solo around.
Do you think that's the right move there to wound on Newborn? Given that he has the ability to melee attack with stealth, he could have swung into solo and cleared him off. And now solo is going to be a damage engine.
I think what we've seen leader on 2, and I don't believe we've seen any other 2 drops from Stacks. So I would imagine that Cell is probably comfortable leaving leaving Solo around for a turn. I think the difficulty here is now he's going to pitch his hand and become a 7/7 because Solo's around.
Cell had 9 cards. He's played 2. So this could be a level up, draw 7 for stacks here.
Yeah, this is going to be huge.
That's exactly, yeah.
And he's going to attack him with a 7/7. So
him.
even with... I think even had he cleared Solo and stacks did exactly this, Jungle Hunter is still a 4/6 with the active camo, so he's still taking a wound.
So I really feel like last game we saw what Cell wanted to get in the first couple rounds, and in game 1 and now in game 3, we're seeing Stacks hit what he wants to hit every round.
Oh man, Marcellus made the comment. You threw away a gargoyle to level up.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah. I threw away a gargoyle to put 2 wounds on you, and have you have no active camo and no board. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And draw 7 cards, and I'm gonna draw 7 cards. Why not?
Once upon a time, I was listening to the Stone player Firebat talk about a discard deck, and he's like, people are afraid to play cards that make discard because they might throw away good cards. But it's like, dude, they're all good cards. You only put good cards in your deck. Like that's the thing you have to be willing to do. You can't play that kind of strategy.
My hallmark of a good deck when I'm testing is if my opponent makes me discard and I don't want to give him any of my cards. If every single decision in my hand is a rough decision, I feel I've built a good deck.
It kind of looks like all of the space locations Jungle Hunter was unable to draw in games 1 and 2 are showing up here in game 3.
It's a clutch time to draw him.
Big question, is it going to help him?
And he can draw a lot of cards. I mean, each one of the
Another
6
active
additional
camo
cards right there.
Now, tell me, is active camo here? He's going to go turn back into a 4/6? He's going to draw some cards. Is that good enough?
He's going to draw only 2 cards off of that because he took Flint out of Newborn's KO pile.
But is that good enough? Because we already know that Newborn's there as a 7. When you get to Newborn's turn, he's going to be an 8. So you either need to put Newborn face down, in which case you're still a 4/6. So you need to put him face down and have a way to pump. Or you need to level on this turn, which you can't do. So I guess I look at this wondering if active camo was the right play.
Definitely think Jungle Hunter being in the front row means Marcellus is going to... Oh, he's going into solo. But rather than trying to tangle with the main character here, he's bypassing him and going to try to chip away at the value engine.
But can he stop the wound? Did he do an active camo to sacrifice, like he's wasting that active camo to get rid of Solo? Oh, man, that seems rough.
And it gets him up to 6 defense. That's not big enough to deal with
It's
Warren.
no.
He doesn't have any combat interactive plot twist, right? He's just running the turnaround in the end time, I think.
I think everything's aggressive.
That's correct, yeah.
Oof. And really, what passes for combat interaction in this Jungle Hunter deck is effects like Ms. Marvel and kind of to a lesser degree Match. Like these are the combat tricks, or I guess the hunter ability on Primeval. These are the things that are letting him take his character stats and get them big enough to outclass his opponent, as opposed to you won't like her when she's angry or find cover or whatever.
Oh my god, okay. So you threw away a gargoyle? Yes, to level and draw 7 cards and draw a gargoyle and to draw Might Makes Right. There it is. There it is. There.
Full stacks again. It's called that because you stack green counters on gargoyle.
If I could build decks where every single game I drew Solo on 1, Leader on 2, and Gargoyle and Might Makes Right with a green on 3, I would never build anything but those cards in a deck. If all 3 games, Stacks has just been on point every single game.
The expectations are high here. Team Apex 3-0'd last time they were on Fight Island. And,
yeah, they're going for a back-to-back sweep in Fight Night.
And
seems
there's so much trash talk against Newborn. Can you show your face if you lose?
I can already hear the memes now. If you can't find an answer to Newborn, can you find an answer to Jessica Jones? I say this with love. I have nothing but respect and admiration for both of our players, all the teams in our community. Like for anybody who's not in on the insides of this is all good natured. There's no actual like hate coming from anybody. Just so that's out there.
Yes, no. Team Apex is just the greatest
space.
group of guys that you have seen. They are wonderful to play with. They make great decks. They do think outside the box. They are just fantastic guys.
So
I really like their Odin build that they had at Midwinter.
Yeah, they do a great job not going with the grain. They bring some really interesting decks, and they're really good at choosing these decks like Jungle Hunter, like Royce, and really grinding into them and refining them and making them the best they can be.
now again, we have a situation where Marcellus has played a character that requires green to do anything.
And doesn't have a green?
Row a green. So I think we may have the read on his hand again that he does not have.
Well, now he is using that space, so he's going to draw 2 cards. He removes Charlie. He's going to draw 2 cards. So does he find the green?
I think it bears mentioning that he's already been punished a little bit for that Demon who makes trophies of Min power activation, because Stax used a leader again last turn. He had 5 cards in hand and drew 4 more. Marcellus is going up on the card advantage again, and Stax is still showing a leader and still showing a yellow.
Yeah, I'm sure Stax is not upset about that. Anytime.
Oh,
Anytime. Gargoyle is done.
match into Gargoyle with an anytime.
Wow.
That is a fantastic card. Now, do you think that plot twist is going to decide the outcome of the game the way it did last game?
Ooh. I don't know. I think it's too early. I think that was a critical play, but I think it was a critical play to dig Cell out of the hole that he's found himself in, and not a critical play to move ahead and put himself in winning position.
Misspoke. It was turnaround last game.
Oh.
It discarded the leader that really dictated the flow of that game. Still, one of a kind plot twists, man. They're powerful.
They are. But again, same thing. I think last turn that dictated the tempo, that put Cell ahead. And I think this time, anytime hasn't put him ahead, it's put him back in the game.
So there were no other relevant plays that Cell was able to make on his turn. He can't get big enough to hit leader. He can't get big enough to hit Newborn. His Jungle Hunter is just rotting down there at level 1.
Oh, I bet he's so sad he did not pull that green with those 2 cards.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, a green could have cleaned up the board.
He needed to pull that green so that Charlie could have run into Newborn, and then he could have punched leader. Like I'm sure that's why he used the space, and that's what he was digging for in those 2 cards.
Here, the line of play that I think it has some explanatory power for Marcellus suiciding his characters earlier in the game. Lethal play just took a 3 health Charlie off the board.
Massacre on 4 to just destroy Charlie. Massacre is an underrated card. That card is fantastic. He's got Mercenary, so he's going to attack with any main character. He's got range, and he's got lethal, and he's 2 life.
4 wounds on Jungle Hunter there.
4 wounds on Jungle Hunter. 1 wound on Newborn. 1 wound on Newborn.
See, what kind of 4 drops could we potentially be seeing? I mean, Gambit doesn't really do a lot here.
So, Cell's got a choice between Gambit and Prowler on 4, but he's only running, I believe, 1 Prowler in that build. So he's going to rely on Gambit.
We have seen all 4 space now from Cell.
Oh.
Not a single
All
one the
4
past 2
space
games, and
locations.
all 4 of his space locations now with nothing else. No greens.
What does he do here?
No
I mean,
reds.
if he has an active camo, is it worth it to camo up just so you can get stealth attack on Massacre level?
That turns you into a 7/6, and you're looking at a is it Newborn still a 7/7, I believe? I mean, maybe,
think he has
because that'll turn you
counter.
into a 9/8
Oh, an active camo
active
on
camo
match.
on match.
Okay, well, hey, that'll get there.
Okay.
He's not going to be able.
But he hasn't formatted right. He's got.
Interesting.
Oh,
He's
okay.
using match to melt Newborn, and then I guess he'll clean him up with the Jungle Hunter.
He'll clean him up with the Jungle Hunter. He's going to draw some cards here.
You get out of the KO. Does Stacks have any KO pile interaction?
I don't believe so.
No, he does not.
Yeah, so whoever he picks here is kind of irrelevant. I mean, it gives him 2 cards to draw, but they're all red health.
I think it's difficult here because Jungle Hunter's still not going to level. And now you just have a 3 defense match who is going to get shot by Massacre.
He can't be shot because he can't be ranged attacked.
All right, so Newborn's going to come in and punch him in the face. Either way, he's a 6 attack, but he's only got a 3 defense.
Yeah. I mean, are you willing to sacrifice your Massacre? I mean, yes, Stacks is ahead on board here, but he's not like running away with the game.
Well,
So-
I think if he runs Newborn into Jungle Hunter as his first play, then you put a 5th wound on Jungle Hunter, and if that goes all according to plan, you can probably safely run Massacre into match. Clear Cell's
actually-
board.
Maybe that's the line you want to go down. You get your Massacre off the board. No matter who Cell recruits, he's not really going to have a good attack on Newborn.
Yeah. And you're gonna
5
stall
drop,
you're
5
gonna
drop
stall out his ability to level. Plus he's got an LV showing, so he can make Newborn a 9/9 in that attack, making him that much harder to hit.
Man, I think we might be seeing the end of this game.
I believe we've got another match in a solo that came down. I'm not sure there's a whole lot that can be done.
I think there is a lot to be said for how good Match as a character is. Like, that guy did some work on both sides of this fight tonight.
I mean, don't be fooled by his 1 defense. That strike dropping counters down is huge.
Yeah, so he is willing to let the Massacre go just to clear the match.
Well, but Massacre's got 2 health, so you don't even really let him go. You just
Ooh, now he
Simply get
didn't do the technical play there where he got his counter on Solo.
Yeah, and he did not use his LV to grow Newborn, which I probably would have done just to make him a little safer.
I mean, that could usually put him out of reach. I mean, what would you be afraid of? Yeah,
I'd be
plus
afraid of
3.
Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
We've
it'd be
seen Miss Marvel come down.
lost.
We know he's got a lot of big drops, so I would be afraid of Miss Marvel.
It's interesting too, guys, because Cell's not running any 5 drops, so he's gonna underdrop on this turn.
And I don't think you mind underdropping if what you underdropping is like prime time active camo or something like that. Does he have any active camo yet? I think we've seen 3 this game.
We've seen 3 this game, yeah, but no smart disc, surprisingly, because that's all that showed up last round.
Yeah. So
really, I
so
think
let's see
like
why.
here-
Let's speculate why Stacks didn't. Why didn't he do the technical play? Why didn't he put the counter on Solo? Why didn't he get the counter on Match? Why didn't he buff Newborn? Is he just
I think
too
he's
comfortable?
overconfident about the win.
Yeah, he's
that's-
just too
that's where I'm
comfortable
at.
with the win?
That's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I think be a little bit of got this thing in the bag could explain not getting the extra counter for Solo. Actually, Match. I mean, I guess maybe you don't attack with Match because you want to get that counter on Newborn. But then if what you want to do is try to get your Newborn bigger, it seems like paying the green to give him the +3 would be the way to really go all in on that strategy.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe he's thinking about a couple different things here and trying to balance. And
So,
really,
guys,
only
so-
play your. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Sorry about that. I just want to point out that Robbie Stewart in the chat confirmed my suspicion. If you look at Stax' board, right above it where his Barks can is, he's using Jungle Hunter as a coaster.
Oh, dude.
And at first I thought I wasn't 100% sure, but then Robbie confirmed in the chat.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
And Bert did comment on your guys' chatter that he's trying to play around Savage Surprise.
Okay. Yeah, that can make sense.
You said also you can't green ability if you have cards in your hand.
Oh, that's true. Forgot about that drawback.
Oh, yes.
So Stax has a whole grip full of cards, so
He
he
does.
can't
So he can't even buff himself. Wow, see. And again, we look into the pitfall of Newborn here. And I say this knowing full well that he is very likely going to take this 3-1 or 2-1, but still. Come on. Not
there's
having an
something to
entire
consider,
ability you
too.
can use most of the game.
A player who really knows a card, knows what that main character can do and the ins and outs of it. I know the Team Apex guys have played a lot of Predator, but I don't know if there's many people that have played any card as much as Stax has played and thought about Newborn. Like, you just kind of have a little bit of advantage when you're playing your favorite MC, even if it's maybe objectively not as powerful as what the other guy is putting on the board.
Being
Go with what you know,
practiced
right?
with your deck or being practiced with your cards, knowing a little more than the opponent, and just being able to, again, just like last, let your opponent make a mistake. Let him forget about dodge. Let him forget about ferocious. Knowing your cards better than the opponent is so powerful.
And forgetting about dodge really kind of decided game 2 of the previous fight night. Here, I think forgetting about the RAR power decided game 2 in this fight night.
Yeah.
It's those little things, man, those tiny bits of percentage that make the difference between the players that consistently make the cut, the people who are only there every once in a while. Not at all.
Mitch in the chat just came out with another good line too. Newborn is the fun one, he says. Leader plus Moon Knight can keep him drawing and dumping the hand.
So what might he... Oh, a thing. Okay.
Prowler thing.
Wow. Okay, look at this
Swain.
line.
Prowler thing, Swain. Now, these are two cards we have not seen yet from Cell at all.
So he needed a Prowler and he drew it.
But Jungle Hunter up
Time.
front? Jungle Hunter up front?
Does he have the ability to pay for a clobber? Oh, he doesn't need to because of the Swain. Oh,
Yeah. He's going to be a 14 with range.
Yeah.
That's going to be enough to hit Newborn in the face.
Is it too little too late though?
He's going to turn into a 7/6. But so then he takes out... Who does he take out? Does he take out solo or match? I think he's in a bad place with Jungle Hunter up front next turn, regardless. I don't think he's where he wants to be.
Oh, man. That's a big hit. We'll say I'm a little disappointed. He said, I'll swing with Thing's ability and not its clobbering time.
So who does he
There was
go
never
for?
a ripe moment to say it's clobbering time. That feels like it was it. Finally,
There we
this is-
go.
what is
We
6
saw
level up? No, turn 5 level up.
he leveled up and he used the amplify ability, so he is an 11/10.
Wow.
11/10 Jungle Hunter with amplify. Plus he has another trophy room sitting on the board face up. So if he survives, he can play during his combat again, and get 2 more counters.
And that was a very impressive turn. You got Newborn. Now, Stax has a ton of cards in his hand here, so he's not going to be able to put 3+1 counters. I'm with RAR. So he's only going to be 7/7, correct?
He's going to be a 7/7, or he
So
could
he's going to
team
need something to
attack
deal
with.
with Jungle Hunter.
Well, he could team
Well,
attack
he could
with
team attack with Massacre, can't he?
Massacre. Massacre's a 5, so I believe
That would get
that'll make him
up
an
to
11.
12.
Yeah, that would get him to 12. No,
No, we
'cause
got
he
him to
won't
11
get the
because he wouldn't get
solo
the counter.
proc.
Yeah, he wouldn't get the solo part. You get him to 11, and Jungle Hunter right now is an 11/10.
That would be enough. I mean, they trade wounds in order to do that, but that would be enough.
And that would be fine since Stax
And
is
we
up on
know-
wounds.
And we know that there's not a lot of options from a plot twist perspective from Cell.
Just a abundance of locations, in Stax Row that he's just not doing anything with. I mean, it feels like Cell has had cards that want locations, and he just hasn't been able to pay for those Charlie activations.
Match.
Oh, that's big time right there.
Is Match going to do it? Match is going to hit him for 5. That's going to turn him into a 6/5, and then Newborn attacks with solo, becoming a 7/7. That sounds like it's there.
That would get him down to.
That's going to get him to a 6/5 right now.
Yep.
And then 7/7 Newborn in with solo proc.
And you can clean up the rest of the board. Oh no, being safe.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Oof.
Wow. What beautiful games. What beautiful games.
Do you have a way to quickly and easily jump back into the Skype so we can talk to the players a little bit, Carlos? Or...
I do. Let me jump back in here into Skype and.
All right, I'm gonna mute my Discord and hop over into Skype.
Sounds good. I guess I'm just gonna close out Discord here.
But I had to discard my thing. I had 2.
All right, boys, we are live with you guys in the audio for the stream.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Hold on, so we can turn this reverb off. Because I'm.
So Stacks, it looked like you had some specialty coasters made just for this event.
Yeah, I was wondering if somebody would catch this. This is my coaster. This is my coaster for me to drink for the match.
Yeah, we can hear yourself.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Credit to Robbie Stewart for being the one who noticed that.
He noticed. I knew somebody would pick up on it.
Beautiful games, guys. Those were just fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
It turned out better than I thought it was going to.
And it was close.
Sel, I think
all right,
we got to roll back to game 2 and talk about the one play that we could tell was really, really frustrating for you.
What's that?
Where you forgot about and ran into a 12-12 Newborn.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think that was
super.
That was the thing that swung the game to where I maybe could have made a comeback.
Super frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one game I won, but it was still frustrating. I definitely thought I had game 1 in the bag. When I blew up everybody with Gambit, I was like, okay.
That was a huge
that was terrifying, because right before that, I was like looking at my board and I was like, I am unstoppable.
Dude, Gambit and Red were already in my hand. All I needed was a big drop.
Well, I saw you play Red, and shout out to Bert, who helped me test this matchup a lot, and our build was way different, and I saw that you were playing Reds, and I was like, I don't know what he's doing with Reds, and then Gambit came down and blew up my board. So I wasn't expecting that. I knew you had some kind of out to Gargoyle, because you knew I would be playing it, but I didn't expect it to be Gambit.
So let's talk about Gargoyle. How Stacks, tell everybody, how do you make a deck where every game... Clockwork, you draw solo on 1, leader and a yellow on 2, and gargoyle green and might makes raid on 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you max out, but it obviously doesn't always happen. But like the games you open solo into leader, it feels very hard to lose, especially if you have a green. But then on games like game 2, where either you don't draw leader or in that case he rips it out of your hand, it's just really hard. It's a tough battle.
Turnaround seemed like a pivotal card game 2.
It is. I almost feel like it's like a mulligan condition in this matchup, but I mean it's a one of a kind, so right. I just kind of have to hope he doesn't have it.
Right, I can't mulligan for a 1 out of 60 card, you know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Because my mulligan is obviously something that's going to start getting me XP, but game 3, when you kept me from, I mean, like when you leveled on turn 2 and I wasn't pulling Smart Disc, I was like, oh crap, this is. And I just kept pulling my active camos because I got stealth in the deck, right? So I need the stealth to kill you at the end. So when I'm pulling 3 active camos and it's taking 2 2 swings and I'm still not stunning you, I'm like, this is bad. This is real bad. Because if I put active camo on Prowler or on Miss Marvel, on Chuck, then you can't hide in the back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like turn 1 Charlies and stuff was one of the big thing I was really worried about, but you didn't hit it, because that card can be problems for me. Even if I level on turn 2 and do the thing, and you can just throw that 3 wound Charlie out there, and it doesn't matter how big my newborn is, and the 3 counters are once per game anyway. So if you hit the Charlie and remove my counters, I'm just like a 6/6 for the rest of the game.
Right. But the one game, like I said, when you spent from the hand, and that you know what's so funny? Game 1, I thought I had it in the bag, and lost. And then game 2, it looked like everything was going for you, and that's the game I won. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how bizarre is that? I pulled that Colossus that turn.
Yeah. And game 2, like, that's kind of the kind of games that I don't want to play. I didn't have a leader, and I was like, so I can either hold these cards in my hand and try to curve out and have a 3/3 main character for the rest of the game, or I can just dump and see if a 9/9 gets me there. And in that case, it almost got me there, but those are the games you don't want to have to play.
So Scott Watson is in the chat asking about Medkit and why we didn't see that, because you are obviously running greens already, and a number of characters that use greens. So why the omission of Medkit in the deck?
So I had Medkits in the deck before, but here's the issue: because Medkit takes 2 health, he throws off my multiplier because he takes 2 resource points. So I have 11 or 10 2-drops in the deck, right? And I think no 3-drops. So that means, math-wise, if I put down a Medkit and try to heal for a life, that means a 2-drop can't come down. You know what I'm saying? And because he's hitting so hard and fast, I need some type of board control. And when I'm not pulling gambits, I can't really gain the board control. Stealth is my backup. So if I play Medkit and hold him off for 1 wound, the Medkit's not going to even come in handy down the line. That's one of the reasons why I didn't play Medkit. I'm like, okay, I got to be way more aggressive and just keep hitting this dude, because if I play Medkit, and I figured he was going to play Thor, which means he's going to have board advantage and heal a wound. So Medkit, me not having board control, isn't going to help if he's still going to heal.
And we did notice
and
that
play
your
a
deck
character
was very high on, or very aggro forward. You didn't play any defensive focus plot twists. You were very, very centered around being very aggressive and very, very much in charge of the board state.
It's interesting that they came to that conclusion too about Medkit, because we had the opposite thought in our testing, was that Medkit was like the deciding card of the matchup, because if we felt like we were both trying to do the same thing, and if you heal 1 wound or God forbid 2 wounds with Medkit, then we're always just behind. So that was the reason why we put Thor in the deck, to try to even it up. Because in our experience, the Medkit is what like sealed the deal, because we were constantly trading and there was constantly these big board swings and advantage, and the healing off Medkit was just disastrous. But once I saw that, I figured he wasn't playing it. I was like, thank God.
Like I said, and then in our end, our testing was the exact opposite. Medkit wasn't winning me the game. Either I was going to win or I was going to lose. Because if I'm coming up short, like the 2 cards I just drew off my space, one of them was Miss Marvel. Well, I needed that Miss Marvel to play because I had 6, 7, and 8 drops in my hand. So I needed that Miss Marvel the previous turn to start turning things around. Medkit then maybe would have helped, maybe, if I had pulled it. But again, like I said, I could use those greens to put wounds on them.
Let's talk about Miss Marvel, because
you
had Gambit come down. Gambit made a big play, and a lot of your other big plays, a lot of the other big board swings that happened looked like they were from Miss Marvel and dropping cards like Thing and like Gilgamesh to her power. How'd she work out for you, and then Stacks was she something you had to keep track of, or just worried about every single turn, her existence on the board?
It was actually, because that card's like really annoying and hard to kill. Optimally, I wanted to see Massacre way more than I saw him, because he cleans up those cards quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that. It's really hard to deal with, but the silver lining for me is that with Gambit and Miss Marvel in the deck, my observation of it at least was like a lot of times his hand's just saturated with high cost characters that if I can manage to deal with those guys, they don't do anything anymore until like the very late game, which is unlikely that we're going to get there. But Miss Marvel's really annoying.
And on my end, I want to see Gambit and or Miss Marvel because they're the ones that are going to blow up my opponent's field and keep me board control. So because he wasn't playing a lot of flight, I wanted to see my late game because Miss Marvel could have handled it. And I never pulled Miss Marvel. So on my end, I never sweated having a whole bunch of high drop characters in my hand because if I had one Miss Marvel, he would have never got past me because I had 2 Gilgamesh in my hand. I had a Thing in my hand. I had a Colossus in my hand on that late game. I had all my late game, characters in that space. That last space I pulled got me to Miss Marvel. So I could have been doing way more damage had I seen anything that I wanted to see, and I just never saw it. I never got my smart disc. I never got the greens for Chuck. I never got Miss Marvel.
I'll say games 2 and 3, it seemed like you were mana starved there. Game 3 you drew every single space you never drew in any other game, and in game 2 and 3 you just weren't drawing greens.
Which is funny because the game really didn't go my way on turn 2, and I barely eked out that win because he was on his way for coming back, and he could have went 3-0 if he just saw Massacre every single game. If he saw Massacre every single game, he would have just been flipping his greens or spaces. I mean, flipping his greens or wilds and team attacking in the folks, and then Massacre would have been face down, and he would have been back the next turn for another team attack. And I knew that was coming. But there was nothing I could do about it because I couldn't risk putting something too defensive in the deck and then not being able to hit back.
Yeah, we had the same thought because with the whole being just 1 wound off, I was like, I would love to put like shocks in here. If I can just fend off one wound, it goes like if you can fend off 1 wound in this super aggressive matchup, it can go a long way. But like, there's just too many efficient turning right cards in here to make room for defensive stuff.
And we knew you weren't playing shock. We knew you weren't going to risk playing shock. I mean, Chest Burst is a gimme, but it was like, man, Stack's not playing shock. So it's like, okay, we got to be as aggressive as possible, especially if I got range. But I didn't have range early enough game for it to make a difference. So it's like, okay, if I play some big people early on, I could push through. And the stealth is really what I wanted to seal the deal, and it just didn't happen,
Right.
Well, I gotta say, Cell, congratulations on being the first fight night to not get swept 3-0.
Gotcha. Yeah, but it worked out. It was fun building it because it's like the 4th or 5th iteration of it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't a sweep because I expected that I would get sweeped because our testing was like really close to being 50-50, and I just was so worried that it just wasn't gonna. I was gonna not draw my leaders, and I was just gonna get steamrolled, and he was gonna heal a wound, and I was just gonna be off by 2 turns. So thank God it wasn't a sweep. All 3 games were really close.
Yeah, those were just beautiful, fantastic games to play. I mean, huge turns with Miss Marvel, huge turns with seeing Gargoyle and Might Makes Right numerous times. Gambit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those were just really fun games to watch. That was great.
Yeah, no, I had a blast. Yeah, it turned out like I said, better than I wanted. He has a lot of different ways you can build him as far as Jungle Hunter, but Leader drawing stacks cards completely flips the script, and Leader and Massacre really is the combo that I knew we were going to have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if Massacre had showed up every turn, and I mean, you got 8 greens in the deck. If Massacre had showed up every single turn, it would have been 3-0. Easy. Ben, so.
Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic where when Jungle Hunter is drawing cards and accruing card advantage, Leader lets me keep up with it, which goes a long way to evening it out. So
and there's nothing I can do about it. Because his defense is so big, I can't hit him out the gate. On turn 2, I don't have anything that's going to hit 6 defense. And if I could put wounds on Newborn versus wounds on Leader, I got to go Newborn because I don't want to be in a deficit later on in the game when I can swing at this dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
it would have been much tighter if I had at least one or two not active camos, but one or two smart discs. It would have been much tighter. But like I said, I just pulled up short on round 3.
Well, awesome, guys. Well, before we go, Ben, do you have anything else you want to add here? Anything to say? Any questions?
I just want to say thanks to our players for coming out and playing on stream. It can be real nerve-wracking to know everybody's kind of watching you. So it's great that we can get people out here to participate in these fights, and I know the community appreciates it. Also, thanks to Joe for being kind of the unsung hero of the casting team, making sure that we had all the right information there at our fingertips while we were talking. I guess actually we should plug the First Look stream one more time on the 15th. Burt Richardson and John Phillips will be doing a First Look reveal stream with the Frightful cards. And in the week or so after that, we'll have Fight Night 4. So that's what we got coming up for the community here over the rest of the month.
Okay, cool.
Guys, you got Cell, Stacks, you got anything you want to say before we leave? Plug your podcast, anything you want to throw out there?
Oh, yeah, check us out at Team Apex, FTW on Facebook, Team Apex for the win at gmail.com. Have any thoughts how we could improve the deck or anything we're looking forward to for a Cosmic format, go ahead and shoot us an email. Definitely looking forward to seeing the replay. You know, had a blast. Definitely see if we could do it again.
Yeah, for sure. Go check me out on YouTube, C_Stacks, trying to get out a bunch of Oklahoma-related content this week. And shout out to Burt Richardson for helping me test for this matchup. We jammed like 25 games against Jungle Hunter, so the shout out to him. And shout out to Team Apex for giving me someone to make fun of all the time. And thanks for having us on.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's all a good fun.
Cool, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining everybody watching, and definitely keep an eye out for Fight Night 4, where we get the Philippines involved, the International Fight Night. I'm Carlos Luna from Team Attack Podcast, and this was all put together and hosted by Team Attack and then Mr. Ben and the Build Phase guys. So check us out again. We'll keep you all posted when we do this again, and thanks for watching.
All right, later.
Go win some games.